What going on? It's your boy VI Guy here, and welcome back to another video on your boy channel. So I know this time trial is super late. This is last week's time trial, but I had actually already recorded everything and put everything together, so as a up and coming or new, let's say, YouTuber, I decided to still put it out anyways because it's just motivating me to stay consistent. And that's probably one of the harder things to do, especially when you have another job and you have other things going on. Like for me, I was actually out of town, but I had already beaten this time trial and I had already put everything together. So I said, why not release it? So last week's time trial was actually called the Great Ocean Highway. And I completed it using this SUV here. It is the Pagasi Touros. Yeah, so this SUV here is what I use for my budget vehicle. This is less than $500,000, and I think that's actually easily affordable, especially for some of the newer people. And plus, I'm pretty sure you might be surprised that I completed this time trial with an SUV. I know some people struggle to complete this. Even if you use the Batty 801 motorcycle, it was a struggle. You have to literally wheelie all the way there, but you will see that your boy completed this time trial without any struggle whatsoever. A couple tips that I could give you for this time trial, if you ever, do it again, maybe, a couple months from now, whenever, I don't know when it cycles. But anyways, a couple tips for this time trial is you want to pick the best line. So you'll see right here, I kind of go on oncoming traffic side for a little bit. And you'll see that I do that in and out of this stretch. And that's so that I pick the best line. If you stay on the, direction of traffic that you're heading, that might actually be a longer route. Where if you go on oncoming, when you make left turns, you'll shave off precious seconds. And you know what? You want to have as much time as you can, especially when you get to the end. Now, I would say that this SUV did good on this point to point without no problems. And I think that's because of its high clearance. It didn't really have a problem getting off the top of that parking deck. And it handles like a damn near sports car, if I do say so myself. I know a lot of people actually use the Batty bike. Maybe I'll use it one day. But you know what? I like being different. So I think one of the best vehicles you can do this time trial with is this SUV. Because it handles like a sports car. Because of that beginning when you have to jump off of the parking deck. And because of its speed. I actually did this so fast that I actually slowed down right here. You see, I slowed down quite a bit. I slowed down for two reasons. One, everybody literally slams into the tree and into the building and almost killed themselves. I wanted to be different, and you know what? I pulled up nice and slow, didn't damage the car. So next up, I used the Fura, the Grotti Fura supercar. And again, I did the same thing. I maintained the best line. Sometimes I got on oncoming traffic side. Sometimes I stayed to the right. And you'll see right there I stayed on the road because it doesn't handle like the SUV. But either way, it does just as good. Oh, the second thing, I almost forgot. Yeah, boy, I almost forget. The second thing about that SUV, let me just backtrack, was that you'll notice I slowed down a little bit in the end because I didn't want to kill myself on this run when I use the expensive vehicle. Because I'm starting to feel like that SUV can keep up with some of these supercars. So I might have actually set, or I could have set, a higher time with that vehicle probably than with this one. So that's why I slowed down a little bit. But either way, this vehicle does just as well. It is a little bit lower to the ground, so it'll react more to certain little bumps and certain little turns in the road. But you know what? It did the job very well. Again, when I got to the end, your boy didn't want no scratches on his car. I'm one of those guys who drive up the hills slowly because I don't want to get hit. I like my stuff to look clean when I reach, So in the end, again, I slowed down and I pulled up into the bar and I pulled around. I made it look so good because almost every other video that I watch from any other creator, they just seem to just slam into the checkpoint, and that sometimes puts you right into the tree and right into the building. And that's because, you know what? your bike tired, you need a different vehicle for the time trial. The bike will not always be the best vehicle to use. Like I said, maybe one day I'll use the body just so I can join the group. But again, I pulled in, you can see part-time beaten. I pulled around and I stopped in the same spot where I stopped with the Urus. So now that those time trial runs are out of the way, we're gonna head on over to the Bandito time trial, which is actually right next to Simeon. It is the construction site. So I actually headed down there, and I didn't want to kill the length of the video. I usually try to stay around 10 minutes, just to kind of keep your attention, but not have you sleeping on the video. So I actually head down to the construction site. In a little bit here, I'm going to do like a little time warp. See, there it is, time warp. So now we're here. Look how quickly that was. So we're going to pull up to this time trial, and if you know my time trial videos, you'll know that I'm actually going to do a test run to see how it is, and then we're going to aim for our power run where we try to beat the time. So I'm actually going to give you a few little, I guess, yellow tape markers for this construction site. Obviously it's a construction site, so there's a lot of hazards. One being the edges of this building, because you'll see right here on the outside of the building is very simple. There's maybe 5 or 6 markers that you have to hit, but once you get on this damn building, man, there's so much issues you won't even believe. So we're gonna start with these ramps. Like right here, I just missed the ramp. I mean, that's because I didn't know which way to go. But the ramps will definitely discombobulate you. If you hit the ramp and go on a certain angle or a certain speed, it wants to turn the car backwards, face upside down. But also, it's a small little car, so you have to also be mindful of the little holes and edges that it can actually fall through. Right there was a ledge, I would have fallen down. I know I pretty much grandma drove this entire time trial just so that I don't end up off a cliff. And it actually wasn't that bad. I actually did not have to do this multiple times. Maybe, I think 5 times total. On the 5th time was the time that I got it. You can hear the timer beeping already, and I have no clue how far the end is. I'm like, well, shit. This might take forever because it's really not that much over a minute, and I have to go through this entire building. So once you get past the little holes to fall down and the edges, is really just a lot of sharp turns, and usually when you make the turn you'll hit into another obstacle, so just take your time going around the corners. So right there I failed it. I went over probably by 18 seconds, but have no fear, this is the run where your boy actually make the part time. So this was not the run directly after, this was I think my 5th run, and this was the run I was actually able to make, the 1 minute and 12-second run. And you could tell because your boy just approached this time trial like a beast. There used to be this thing we used to say in football back when I was in school: are you a goon or are you a goblin? And right now your boy was just a goblin because I was able to handle this a lot better than the first time. So some of the things that I actually brushed up on was coming up the ramps. I knew what to expect around the corners, so I didn't really bump into as many obstacles. It's still tricky with this little RC car for whatever reason. I just can't handle this thing all that well. You know what? And I don't know if it's just me or if it's everybody who uses the RC Bandito, but you give it an inch and it takes a mile. You turn a little bit and it tries to turn a lot. Key pointers: just stay straight when you're going up the ramps. If one tire hits before the other tire, you have a higher chance of hitting something, of being turned out of the way and hitting something. As long as you keep it straight going up the ramps, you have a good chance of staying straight up and down the ramp. So you can hear the timer going already. That's the 10-second warning. Your boy whip around the corner and boom, he beat part-time. I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it, but you know what? I came within 100th of a second, and I'll take it because I just wanted to show you that it can be done and that it wasn't that hard. But that's actually gonna be it for this video. I appreciate it if you stayed this long to watch. I fucks with you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Sorry the video was late, but I'm gonna check out you later.